Hey there, nomads of lore.
Maestros of mirth and mythology.
I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Shawn.
And together we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home.
Today we are going to be doing our part 2 of Star Wars Ranked. In the first video, which you can click on somewhere on the screen to get linked to if you haven't seen it, or down in the description, we talked about our bottom 4 Star Wars films. We're just talking about films this year. Next year, we'll include even more media. For now, we thought we'd get started with the 11 films. So we did 11 through 8 in that video today. In this video, we are going to be talking about numbers 7 through 4.
That's right.
So, what is your number 7?
So my number 7 is kind of a carryover from last one because it's episode 3.
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith.
So you're not totally
Revenge
stupid then. That's good.
No. Revenge of the Sith, just a little bit higher.
Okay.
And it is it's number 7 because it's one of the first 3, and it needs to get off the list as quickly as possible.
Down with the prequels.
Yeah, so it's an okay movie. And I like it for the transformation that you get to see Hayden Christensen go into, going from Anakin to Darth Vader.
Right.
And so and that's pretty much it. The acting is not that great. The writing is not that great, but the film is really cool as far as that transformation is. And there's some really cool scenes, some really heartfelt scenes. The scene on the higher ground scene is oh my gosh,
the high ground.
But it's heart wrenching to see how
Sure.
much he's fallen, and then of course Padme dying and
Absolutely,
and all that. So so that's my number 7.
So my number 7 is episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Okay,
and so I love The Force Awakens. Unabashedly, I think it is great. There's a lot of fan service. It follows essentially the plot of A New Hope and with a little bit of Empire Strikes Back thrown in there, and I don't have any problem with that. Probably my favorite, most memorable moment from that film is Han and Chewie walking back onto the Millennium Falcon, and the line. I mean, it's total fan service, and it's a bit cheesy, but when is Han Solo not being cheesy? When he's being awesome, that's when. But when he says, Chewie, we're home. Oh, it's great. Super fan service. The one thing that's really great, I think it does a wonderful job of introducing some new characters. I love Rey, love Finn. Those are wonderful characters. I've never been a Kylo Ren fan. Still, he's a little redeemed in a movie that's now obviously higher on my list, but I've never really liked the character, and especially in that film. He's a whiny baby, and he's annoying. But I love that film. I think it's super fun. I think it's great. It's my number 7. So
awesome. So my number 6 is also episode 7.
Nice.
Force Awakens, which is kind of funny, but it's good. And it is a good film. It kind of, it definitely reawakened that Star Wars in me, that wanted the Star Wars films. It was so awesome.
From the prequels.
Yeah, and it's so much better than the prequels in so many ways. I love Kylo Ren. I love all of the characters, and all the storylines that they opened up in episode 7 are good. It is not 4, 5, and 6, and that's kind of why it's where it's at. It's got so many good things about it, though. So yeah.
My number 6 is Episode 8, The Last Jedi. So this is probably a surprise to you that this is higher than The Force Awakens. It is a little bit to me too. You put it was in the last video for you.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, this list, we both had a hard time with this video's worth of content, this middle section. Our top is going to be less surprising, at least it was to us. It was easier. The lower end was easier. I mean, for me, it was pretty much prequels and Solo, right? But if you haven't seen the other video, spoiler, sorry, too late. But, there it is. Go watch the video, because we're in it. But this video, I think, As I thought about this list, I thought more and more about this film and The Force Awakens. Obviously, I've already talked about The Force Awakens. I still love that film. And I tried as best as I could to separate The Last Jedi from the politics of The Last Jedi.
Mm.
And I think for me, as I thought about it, the more I thought, I really do like what Rian Johnson was trying to do in The Last Jedi. I think the writing for the film, as far as the storyline, is really good. There are several things that are really neat, trying to push the series in a different direction. I like the message of you don't have to be a Skywalker to be awesome. We'll talk more when I talk about the rise of Skywalker, how some of that has changed, not necessarily for the bad. I do agree with you. The cantina scene, not the cantina, the casino stuff.
Oh yeah,
that was done. It had some of the dumbest humor in the new sequel trilogy. Yep. It was the stupid opera singer lady was stupid, and the drunk guys it was dumb and annoying. The reason why it's lower at this place is because that's where I really think it belongs. I know some people are even, I said people are going to give you a hard time where you put it on our last video. And people are going to give me a hard time, honestly, with it being where it is. I mean, mm-hmm. The people that are fans of The Last Jedi are super fans. I mean, and you're wrong. I'm sorry. You can disagree with me. You're just wrong. It's not as good as you think it is. It's not. And the biggest problem and one of the reasons why it is here and not higher on the list is because it's really as much as I do like some of the things that were done and were tried to be done, whatever, English. Mm-hmm. It's shot in a real flippant way. Like, the rallying cry of Rian Johnson and Last Jedi fans is it's changing the expectations, sorry, I got to get your words right. Subverting expectations. And, it subverts the mess out of expectations. It like makes it almost into a joke. It's like, oh yeah, here's Skywalker. Oh, just kidding. Throw the thing. Oh yeah, we're gonna all die and oh no, pull a holdo maneuver out your butt and do this thing. Oh yeah, Luke Skywalker's he's gonna come back and he's gonna be triumphant. Oh, just kidding. Throw that out the window. He's whatever. Oh yeah, he actually lives. Oh, just kidding. He's dead. I mean, it's just like stupid. I mean,
it also has a scene where Yoda catches the tree on fire.
Sure,
which starts the whole process of the Jedi
Force Ghost
the Force Ghost being able to manipulate which is a huge problem for me. And if you haven't seen how it should have ended on The Last Jedi, you should watch it because of that very thing. But anyway,
so. I've had a roller coaster and who knows, next year when we do this, it may be at the bottom of the list. I really don't know because this movie bounces around in my mind worse than any other film because there are some things to me, that movie is a lot like the prequels, in a way. But the writing's better and the story. Well, I don't know. The prequels has got some neat story. Says some neat story elements. So I decided in the end, and I went back and forth between putting Force Awakens and The Last Jedi where they should be. I went back and forth on that for a long time. And I finally decided that as a film, in my humble or not so humble, depending on what you think, opinion, it's a better film than dadgummit. then there's too many Skywalkers and Jedis and all the things. But I think it's a better film overall than The Force Awakens. I love Force Awakens. I enjoyed watching it better, and I have disagreed with myself on multiple occasions on then thinking I've for a while there I probably would have put Last Jedi as my least favorite. It's tumultuous in my mind, but it's a good. I do appreciate more now some of the things it was trying to do. So there it is.
Well, there you go. So episode.
Yep, your episode.
Yep, number 5 for me. Mm-hmm. Right, that's where we're at.
Yep,
number 5. Is episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Sorry. And that's just, I mean, it's a really good movie. Whenever I first saw it, it probably would have been more towards, I don't know, I'd say 9 or 10 on the list whenever I first saw it. But then the things I've learned through the visual dictionary and doing a little more research about different elements that they didn't explain because the movie's already so long, but it could have been even so much longer, all the stuff that they tried to cram in it. But once you learn a lot of that stuff, it's like, well, okay, and that's probably to the detriment of the movie, that you do have to go search that out. But it's a good film. And so it's number 5 on my list. Mm-hmm.
So number 5 on my list, I'm going to make sure I'm not lying, is episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, it's slightly comical because I said that Last Jedi is better than Force Awakens because it's a better movie. Rise of Skywalker, by almost any metric, is a worse movie than The Last Jedi, and some of the other things probably. The Rise of Skywalker is everything The Force Awakens was times 10. That's
a fan service movie.
It is almost nothing but a fan service movie. I mean, there's nobody that should even think about watching this movie that isn't already at least a mid-level fan of Star Wars. But it does such a good job of fan service. It's got
Ahsoka's voice in it. So
exactly. That really is why it's on this place in my list ahead of some of the other sequel movies, is because it does such a good job of fan service with all of the extended universe stuff. It has so many tie-ins to the animated shows, which I love, and so many other things. And it's got these little tidbits, and the visual dictionary does an even better job tying it all in. So it's my number. What is this? Number 5, because I loved it the first time I watched it. I loved it the second time I watched it, and I think it's one that I'm just going to enjoy for a long time. I had a lot of fun watching it. Everything Force Awakens was times 10, and that's why I like it. Number 5.
All right, so number 4 to round out this video, the last one for me is episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And really? I had a really hard...
this was going to be his number 1.
I know. I had a really hard time. I had a really hard time ranking number 1 through 5. Well, I guess 1 through 4.
Return of the Jedi.
1 through 4 I had a really hard time with. And everybody knows the 4, 5, and 6 are amazing films. Mm-hmm. And they're what started the whole thing. So, Return of the Jedi, the reason that I put it at number 6 was not necessarily anything to do with the storyline, because I really like number 5 as far as the storyline goes. I mean, number 6. Sorry. Too many numbers.
Yep.
I really like number 6 as far as where it is in the storyline. But probably the biggest thing is the Ewoks. They're some of my favorite characters as far as like cutesy, cuddly little teddy bear things. But at the same time,
that guy's wise.
they are so distracting, and they're so
distracting.
They're almost like the Jar Jar of episode 6. And that's why I went back and forth, because I do like them, but I don't. Anyway, and I'm kind of coming around on Jar Jar a little bit too, but not near as much.
Clone Wars,
not near as much. So yeah, that is exactly why Clone Wars is
animated
awesome.
show.
Animated. Yeah, y'all should definitely check it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my number 4.
Ewoks. So my number 4 is Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, which obviously you're going to see a lot later on his list. Rogue One is, in my opinion, obviously at this point, because of where I put it on my list, is the best of the Disney era. The Disney era Star Wars films. It is,
we're from Texas, so I'm not sure what.
I don't know what accent that was. That was the new Star Wars race. I don't even know what they would be.
I don't know either.
Derailed.
That's right.
But not demonetized. Okay. So, it's a good film. It is so good. They need it. Honestly, Rogue One makes me wish Solo didn't exist, because Rogue One is exactly what a Star Wars spinoff, from the episodes from the Skywalker saga should be. It's so good. It's got wonderful comedic people with K2. Alan Tudyk does an amazing job with the voice, and the writing for it is great. It's got some great new characters, which we're going to get to see more of with the Disney Plus show following Cassian. That could be really great. Might even push this movie up higher on my list. Who knows? It's so fun. I love the ending. Spoiler alert for that film. Definitely, if you haven't seen that film, click off. Go watch that film right now. What is wrong with you? Well, nothing wrong with you, because you're going to click off and go watch the film right now. Buy a Disney Plus subscription if you haven't yet. It's worth it for that film by itself. Ending, it was expected. Obviously they all die. Because why haven't we heard about them if they didn't all die? So it wasn't a surprise, but it was gutsy at best. It was at very least. Yeah. So, and I was a huge Donnie Yen fan. He plays Chirrut Imwe, the blind, force sensitive kind of guy that's not a Jedi. I was a huge Donnie Yen fan before even watching. When I saw he was going to be in this film, I was super exciting, and I was right to be excited because his character is phenomenal. It's really a great film. It wouldn't surprise me if this one rises in my estimation over the next few years. Again, best Disney era Star Wars film by a wide margin. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome. So we're at the end of
Part 2.
Star Wars Ranked Part 2. Mm-hmm. And again, we're going to do this again sometime down the line. Right now, this is just the 11 films. That was numbers 8 through 4, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so we've got one more Part 3
next week,
ranking 3, 2, and 1. So y'all check that out. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike it, give it a thumbs down. Or somewhere in between. Subscribe. Click the subscribe button. Comment below. Click the bell. Do all the things. It was wonderful to have you as an audience. I don't know where I'm going with that, but
goodbye. It's been nice to see you.